let's talk about this play-in tournament. First of all, it was so tight in the West.
Yeah.
Going into the last week, really the last 5 days, there were one game separating third, and then 4 teams tied for fourth, and then there was one game separating those 4 teams with the team that was in eighth.
Yeah.
And so we have Memphis at Golden State. It was very, very tight. How did Golden State end up back in this, even though Jimmy Butler had seemingly made them seem so, really threatening to win the title?
They're really good. They just were not good in the beginning of the season. And I feel like every Western Conference team kind of went through some sort of metamorphosis, whether it's the Lakers and their trade, Kawhi coming back. That Clippers team, the Clippers and Golden State got after it last night, but that Clippers team is a completely different beast when Kawhi plays. They're 22-11, I think, when he plays. He's only played a handful of games this year, but when he does, that can happen. At any given moment, he can be the best player on the court. Any given moment, put him against Denver, put him against Milwaukee, anybody. That guy, when he gets it going, it's just he's going to get to a spot. You know what he's going to do? Yeah. He's going to hit his catch and shoots. He's going to get to those elbow that nail jumper, and he's going to just power through you a lot of times. And there's really very little you can do about it, because if you start doubling, hey, there's this other Hall of Famer on his team, James Harden, that will also cook you down deep. I love Zubac. I really like that Clippers team. I know this was a thing about Golden State, but I really like that Clippers team a lot. Golden State just waited too long. If they could have made that Butler trade earlier, and I don't know what that Butler saga was a mess. So I don't know if that was even on the deck of cards that they could have played. But if they could have, then they wouldn't be in this situation. But as you mentioned, the West they're chock full of talent, and somebody good was going to end up in this spot. And it happened to be the Warriors. It certainly isn't the Grizzlies, because for the life of me, I don't know what happened with their coach Jenkins. That's still baffling to me.
Well, we had two late season firings: Taylor Jenkins in Memphis and Michael Malone in Denver. The stuff I'm reading about was that the environment around the team was everybody was, I don't know, nobody was having any fun. I don't know. I'm sure the reporting is legit. So. Look, if you're not having a good time doing what you're doing,
I guess. I've read that stuff too. I've also heard that John Morant didn't like the offense. They were sixth, pretty much fifth, sixth, right, seventh, somewhere in there all year in terms of offensive efficiency. In the 9 games they haven't been, they're 11th. So I need something, because I really feel like people are talking to us like we're dumb. Because I'm hold on, bro. I've never seen this. I've never seen teams that were playoff bound this deep 9 games before the playoff starts. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? You're not going to win anything if you make that sort of monumental change right before. And I know you want to pacify your best players if we're not having fun. I bet if you won some more, you would have fun. I bet if that's kind of what we're here for, and they've been kind of middling. And I don't know, man. That's a weird spot to walk into. It still baffles me, because this Memphis team not too long ago, remember, they were the young guns that were supposed to be the next up in the West, and now they've been supplanted, are in a playing game, and you look up and who is it now? It's OKC. They've completely lost the plot there, and hopefully in this offseason, whenever their offseason begins, they can kind of correct shit, because I like a lot of the guys on that squad.
All right, so Memphis Golden State, the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken, took 3 out of 4 during the season from the Grizzlies, but I think only one of those was after they acquired Jimmy Butler. So my guess is we got to kick out those first 3 games, though the Warriors did win that game with Jimmy Butler, I believe. It's in San Francisco, so you obviously have to favor Golden State. Is it basically a foregone conclusion that they're going to take care of the Grizzlies tonight? The Grizzlies still have a lot of talent.
No, they've got a ton of talent. Jaren Jackson Jr. has had a phenomenal year, right? Desmond Bane, they have a lot of really good talent on the team. It's just when you start making decisions like that, it's hard for me to take you seriously. You're 4-5 in your last 9 games. You're not even a 500 team since you made that change at head coach, and it's hard for me to take you seriously. You add to that, I don't know if he's going to be able to take the Miami Magic with him, but it's playoff Jimmy time, right? Like this is his time. This is when he starts playing better, and he has meant so much to that team in terms of taking the pressure off of Steph. He hasn't shot the ball great, but it just in terms of what he can create in the pick and roll and as a secondary stuff, and in some non-Steph minutes where you really don't feel as uncomfortable about them generating offense. I'm a little frightened because they rely on the three-pointer so much. So in these play-in situations where you might only get a chance to play 1 or 2 games, I think Golden State is second in the league in terms of the percentage of their offense that is three-point makes.
Right.
So if you start talking about 1 or 2 games, I mean, you can just have a bad couple of games shooting, and suddenly you just have nothing on offense. But I do think Golden State is ultimately going to get this, and we'll get them in the playoffs.
Yeah, and if they win tomorrow, they would get the Rockets in the first round of the playoffs proper, which is probably not a bad spot. It's why you want to win tonight. You don't want to have to go and win either over Dallas or Sacramento in the other game. And, boy, are those 2 teams that screwed this up by staying in the play-in tournament? Didn't they want to not be in the playoffs?
like that is as much as the play-in it was meant to not to like kind of knock out some of this late season nonsense. Right? It's still there. It's still ruminating in the air about like, oh, should we or shouldn't we? But keep this in mind as well when we talk about Golden State or any of these other play-in teams. We've had a couple play-in teams make it to Western Conference Finals. We had a play-in team make it to the finals in Miami. So like it's not crazy that you can go on a run because, hey, maybe a guy gets healthy or maybe you make a trade like they did with Golden State did with Butler. Like I'm not willing to count them out. And Houston plays some really good. They kind of remind me of who the Grizz used to be in terms of like the old gritty grind Grizz. Like, oh no, we're just going to take it into the muck. We're going to play phenomenal defense. We're going to have a whole bunch of different really good defensive guys. And in the fourth quarter, we might have a chance to win it. Like that team is like, shout out to Ime Udoka because that was not a good team even 2 years ago. It was a team that was actively trying to be bad, playing a lot of young guys, big minutes. And now they're a legitimate playoff team. Like I mean, the Detroit Pistons have been the story, but that's the West Coast. That's the Western Conference Detroit Pistons to me.
We'll get to maybe if we have time, we'll get to the Pistons. But certainly, if the Warriors can win tomorrow, it sets up an opportunity for them to take advantage of a young team in Houston, and that could set up Golden State and the Lakers in the Western Conference semifinals in the second round of the playoffs.
You see me cheesing, bro. Like
I'm all about it. That's the series I wanted to see in the first round. It would have been the most watched first round series in the history of NBA basketball. Brenden Whitted is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Thunder are legit. Is there a pitfall? Is there a if it's I don't know if Golden State screws up and loses tonight to Memphis or tomorrow to Memphis and then beats Dallas or Sacramento on Friday. Is that a problem for OKC?
No, not really. Okay. There are very few things. Like anything that I'm going to say about OKC in terms of negativity is going to be like real nitpicky stuff. Like they foul too much. They have a tendency to do that. I am still a little concerned if SGA can't have these sorts of like consistently great games. Who the second guy is? I know J-Dub is a phenomenal player, and he's been really, really good. They have 3 all defensive level guys in Dort, Dub, and SGA. So like they are always going to have great defenders out there. It's not a coincidence that they're so good defensively. It's the fact that they consistently put out guys, particularly on the perimeter, that are scary good on that side of the ball. I think SGA was like top 5 in terms of defensive when he's the primary defensive player on a pick and roll. Like he's been that's why he's my MVP, right? Like that's okay. And that's to say nothing of Jokic. Jokic is top 3 in points, rebounds, steals, and assists. Nobody else has ever done that. Nobody else has been top 10 in all of those things. So if you want to go Jokic as your MVP, I get it. I think he's the best player in the league, but I just think SGA's had a better season.
Here's the just a personal thing about Nikola Jokic is that I somehow made it to the championship game of my son's NBA fantasy league that they dragged me into. And I played against the guy who had Nikola Jokic, and single-handedly got beat by him because he is. I mean, it's not even, you can't even explain the numbers that he puts up. It's everything. It's not just score. It's the whole thing.
That's a tough spot to be in, goal, man. Like, because if you win, you're supposed to win. And if
nobody thought I'd win. I was surprised.
Why would nobody think you would win?
Because I had I had a very late first round pick. My first round pick was Scotty Barnes. I had like 16th. But 16. I wouldn't have to get into it. I gave myself executive of the year just for getting to the finals. Brenden Whitted is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, let me ask you about two series, and then we'll close up shop. And we'll stay in the West first. So the Nuggets, who are without their old head coach and with a new interim head coach, although from the same staff, so I'm not really sure what that proved, they've got the Clippers. Now, we all agree that Jokic is the best player on the, probably on the globe. But Kawhi isn't far behind him when he's right. And you talked about James Harden. How does that series play out? And does it impact whether or not you think Oklahoma City will at least make the Western Conference Finals?
No, I would probably pick OKC versus either one of those teams. That is the most intriguing matchup to me, though. Like of all the first round joints, is
amazing.
That one. Those non-Jokic minutes have been eating the Nuggets up all season, and I just don't know if it can be that one-sided. I don't know if he can't sit for any amount of time without you either losing a lead or falling further behind. You know what I mean? Like, I still love Aaron Gordon. Jamal Murray started to pick it up. I just don't know if there's enough there when he's not on the court. And then sometimes it's just, even when he's playing well, it just doesn't feel like enough to lift everybody. And you see the numbers and those jump off the screen, but sometimes I just feel like it's too much on him.
Right.
Like it's kind of the same thing that I wonder about sometimes with OKC, except more exaggerated because those non-Jokic minutes really eat them up. I would probably pick the Clippers. I don't know what the odds are off the top of my head.
Neither do I.
But I would probably pick the Clippers because they've got it really rolling right now.
All right, now to the East, and this will be the only thing we're going to have time for to talk in the East. Knicks and the Pistons, to me, is the most intriguing of the first round series. I think the Pistons took 3 out of 4 from New York this year.
I think they got the slide on this one.
The Knicks can't beat the best teams. They had a hard time with the Celtics, the Cavaliers. Look, get in line. Look at the records. Everybody had a hard time with them. But the Knicks are the 3 seed, and they really couldn't deal with the best teams in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are favored by a fair amount in this series.
That makes sense.
Why do I think the Pistons are going to beat them?
I think they're a more well-rounded team. The Knicks can flat out score. They can. How they defend, you don't know from night to night. Right. And that's the thing. Like I think the Pistons are a more balanced team, but I still like the Knicks partly because of the maturity factor. We all know when the playoffs come around, being just a team that's been around, being around players that have been and done that. Bridges has been to a final. Brunson and Cat, like they've all been to those big time spots. As a collective, Detroit really hasn't. You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Like Tobias Harris has gotten some wins and stuff, but like not to that sort of extent. And that's kind of why I lean on. Plus, Brunson's just so good late in games. Hopefully he's completely healed and fine. I just like them a little bit better. Like it's close though. I think it's going to be a really good series. It's a 6 or 7 game series for sure.
I mean, is Jalen Brunson the best player in this series, or is it Cade Cunningham?
Oh, I would take Cade before I took Brunson.
That's not the question.
That's not the question. No, it's not. Brunson's so good, man. Like, I don't know. Cade Cunningham's game is just so beautiful to watch, and the way he can orchestrate and lift that whole squad up, it's a lot of fun to watch. I don't want to discount that because Brunson had that injury and we just didn't see him for a while, and I don't want to do a recency bias thing because I've been watching Detroit. I'm like, man, this is a really good player here, and he finally kind of lived up to the expectations of his draft status. I still think right at this very moment, Brunson is a better player and will play better in this series. I think he'll play better in this series. Maybe that's not answering your question, but I think it's the most relevant part.
That was series, the question.
Yeah,
it was not who you would start. Like in this series, who is the best player? And it's a little bit like this is what these guys are, but also looking at in this series, this is what these guys will be able to do.
It can also be Cat, right? Like that's
no,
like,
it
that's
can't be. It can't be Cat.
Man, I think he's caught some slander because he's not maybe this traditional big or whatever. He is incredibly offensively talented. Like otherworldly. Like, and so
he's super talented.
Over the course of a series, you're telling me Cat couldn't be the best player in the series?
He will not be the best player in this series.
I didn't say will he. I'm saying
he will be at best the next third best player in this series.
Okay.
Josh Hart.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Josh Hart could be the best player in this series.
I love Josh Hart. Josh Hart's not in this conversation, man. Like, I love Josh Hart. He's my guy.
I've always loved Josh Hart.
He's
absolutely love him. But I think the Pistons are going to win this series in 6. I think the Pistons close it out in Detroit.
Now, if Cat starts lighting New York up, starts lighting Detroit up, the text messages and the tweets are going to fly.
And that's fine. I'll be okay with the Knicks win, but I think the Pistons are going to win. All right, give me who's coming up right now because we haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Who wins the West?
Lakers.
Oh, whoa. Who wins the East?
Boston. I'm still Boston. Cleveland has had a phenomenal
That
season.
Would be something else, wouldn't it?
It would.
That would break the internet. That would break the internet. Brenden Whitted at HU Cosell on Twitter. Basketball brain, my friend. I'll talk to you a lot next several weeks, man. Take care.
My phone's always on, man.
You got it.